We have never been more articulate about our internal states. We name our boundaries, our burnout, and our attachment wounds with clinical precision. Yet, beneath this expressive abundance, the actual sensation of living often feels strangely distant. We increasingly live a pre-translated life. We experience a moment while simultaneously drafting the post, the message, or the explanation of that moment for others. The feeling arrives accompanied by its future explanation. This constant self-monitoring creates an ambient state of unreality. We act as administrators of our own lives, observing our experiences from a slight distance to ensure they are being processed and filed correctly. Our abundance of emotional language has turned our inner lives into a heavily managed administrative task. We have become excellent at categorizing our suffering without necessarily inhabiting it. Think of a quiet room late at night. The screens are dark, the pipes shift in the walls. For a few seconds, nothing asks to be answered, and an uncomfortable feeling begins to gather in the chest. In that exact fraction of a second, before the emotion can fully take shape, the hand moves. It reaches towards the phone. Before thought has even caught up with the movement. In 1967, the philosopher Guy Debord published a framework for this exact reflex. He called it the spectacle, a theory describing how mass media and consumer culture redefine human perception. Debord argued that in a modern society, all that was once directly lived has devolved into mere representation. This separation replaces authentic social relations with a world mediated entirely by images. The involuntary twitch towards the smartphone is an active submission to the spectacle. We trade the unavoidable friction of physical reality for the comfort of the image. Digital networks operate with absolute speed, but human biology is slow. Grief, love, and fear are unfinished, contradictory processes. They require duration and silence before they can become emotionally real. This internal processing depends on the default mode network, handling self-reflection, but only triggering when external stimulation stops. Biological boredom acts as a critical failsafe, forcing the brain into a state of nothingness to consolidate memories and formulate complex emotional responses. This need for empty time is so primal, the feeling of being bored lacked an English name until Charles Dickens popularized it in the 1850s. By systematically eradicating every interval of empty time, we starve our default mode network. We are biologically preventing our own experiences from settling and becoming memory. Modern technology was engineered to cure us of this biological void. It provides immediate stimulation exactly when the nervous system is supposed to be doing the heavy labor of emotional processing. The feed functions as a reliable emotional anesthetic. It fractures complex feelings like loneliness or uncertainty into transactional tasks, clearing a notification, managing a tone, or responding to a request. This constant interruption triggers a state of depersonalization. When the body enters a low-grade stress response, blood flow is redirected toward the limbs and away from the head, resulting in a dizzy, dreamlike haze. We are medicating ourselves into a state of numbness. The result is living securely beside our feelings rather than inside them. Having cured the absence of stimulation, we have produced a new state of cultural boredom. We are hyperstimulated and constantly entertained, yet lack the interiority to experience the pleasure we chase. Optimizing away the friction of waiting has softened the mental muscle of patience. That quiet faculty is the only tool capable of holding attention long enough for meaning to gather. Orville and Wilbur Wright achieved flight only by enduring years of unremarkable boredom. They spent entire seasons on a beach, just sitting, counting seconds, watching gulls, and engaging in observation. The novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald argued that you must pass through boredom, as through a filter, before any clear product or meaning can emerge. Without the empty space between a desire and its fulfillment, progress loses its definition. A life composed entirely of instant peaks flatlines into a meaningless plateau. Reclaiming our inner lives requires a simple but difficult act. We must willingly reclaim the void and endure the psychological tension of being unstimulated. This requires giving up control. We have to allow an emotion to arise and remain entirely unnamed, undocumented, and unoptimized. Return once more to the quiet, solitary room. The pipes shift. The uncomfortable feeling is beginning to surface. The hand will reach for the phone. It is a learned survival reflex attempting to escape the impending vulnerability of the silence. Quiet. The profound act is choosing not to move. The silence will become heavy, but the emotional fog will finally begin to clear. Authentic reality and deep human connection are still here. They are simply waiting, patiently, beneath the surface of our next interruption.